Why do X% of Y do Z? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. You know how much I love a good laugh, right? But sometimes you got to shake your head at the world and say, what were they thinking? Today, we're diving into the 15 dumbest ways to die. Trust me, you won't believe some of these. We're talking Darwin Award level fails, folks. These are the cautionary tales your mama warned you about. The ones that make you question humanity's intelligence. Or lack thereof. So buckle up, grab some popcorn, and get ready to cringe because these stories are about to get wild. First up, we got a classic case of do it for the gram gone wrong. Imagine you're on vacation, standing on a majestic cliff overlooking the ocean. The wind is in your hair, the sun is shining, you're tired, and you decide this is the perfect time to whip out your phone for a selfie. Now, most people would just, take a step back from the edge, but not this genius. They're inching closer and closer, trying to get that perfect angle, that breathtaking backdrop. They're practically hanging off the cliff. And then, splat. One gust of wind, one wrong step, and it's game over, all for a selfie that's probably going to end up blurry anyway. Seriously, folks, no picture is worth risking your life for. Remember, you can always use a selfie stick. All right, next up we have a story that's just plain shocking. Literally, we're talking about the age-old question. Can you use a hairdryer in the bathtub? Spoiler alert, no. You think this would be common sense, right? Water, electricity, not exactly a match made in heaven. But some people, well, let's just say they like to live on the edge. Maybe they're in a hurry, maybe they think they're invincible, or maybe they just really, really love perfectly coiffed hair. Whatever the reason, they grab that hairdryer, plug it in, and drop it right into the tub. What happens next isn't pretty. It's a one-way ticket to Zap City. Remember, folks, water is a fantastic conductor of electricity. Next time you're tempted to multitask in the tub, just stick to a rubber ducky, okay? Okay, this one's a serious downer. We all know texting and driving is dangerous, but some people just don't seem to get it. They think they can sneak in a quick text at a stoplight or answer that urgent email while cruising down the highway. But here's the thing, driving is not a game. It requires your full attention. When you're behind the wheel, you're responsible for your life and the lives of everyone else on the road. That text, that phone call, that Instagram notification can wait, because in the blink of an eye, everything can change. One wrong move, one distracted second, and the consequences can be fatal. So please, put the phone down, keep your eyes on the road, and get to your destination safely. Chapter 4. Do not enter means you. Have you ever seen a do not enter sign and thought, I wonder what's back there? Well, let me tell you, it's probably not worth finding out the hard way. Those signs aren't just suggestions, folks. They're there for a reason. Maybe it's a restricted area, maybe there's construction going on, or maybe it's a habitat for endangered three-headed monkeys. Whatever the reason, ignoring those signs is like playing a real-life game of Jumanji. And trust me, you don't want to roll the dice on that one. So next time you see a do not enter sign, do yourself a favor and turn around. Your curiosity will thank you later. Chapter 5. Indoor fireworks, a recipe for disaster. All right, let's talk about fireworks. Beautiful, exciting, and best enjoyed outdoors, far away from anything flammable. Seems simple enough, right? But some people, bless their hearts, just can't resist the temptation to bring the party inside. Maybe it's raining, maybe they think it'll look cool on TikTok, or maybe they just really, really like setting things on fire. Whatever the reason, lighting fireworks indoors is a recipe for disaster. We're talking singed eyebrows, house fires, and fourth-degree burns. So please, folks, leave the pyrotechnics to the professionals and enjoy your fireworks the safe and sane way. Outside, with a hose nearby and maybe a fire extinguisher, just in case. Chapter 6. Food allergies, no laughing matter. Okay, this one hits close to home for some folks. Food allergies are no joke, people. We're talking hives, swelling, anaphylactic shock, the whole 9 yards. And yet, some people still tempt fate by eating things they know they're allergic to. Maybe they think so a little bite won't hurt. Maybe they forget to check the ingredients, or maybe they just really, really love peanut butter, even though it makes their throat close up. Look, I get it, food is delicious, but it's not worth risking your life over. Always, always, always check the ingredients, and when in doubt, just say no. Your EpiPen will thank you for it. Chapter 7. Zoo enclosures, not your personal playground. All right, let's talk about zoos. They're amazing places to learn about animals, but they're not petting zoos, folks. Those fences, those barriers, they're there for a reason. And that reason is not to keep the humans in. But some people, they see a lion napping in the sun and think, oh, he looks friendly. I'm just going to hop this fence and give him a little scratch behind the ears. Bad idea, my friend, very bad idea. Wild animals are unpredictable. They're also really, really strong. and they do not want to be your friend no matter how many times you've seen The Lion King. So admire the animals from a safe distance, stay on the right side of the fence, and leave the wildlife encounters to the professionals. Chapter 8. Running with scissors. Just don't do it. Remember when your mum told you not to run with scissors? Well, she wasn't just trying to be a buzzkill, she was trying to save you from a trip to the emergency room. Because let's be real, running with sharp objects is never a good idea. But some people, they just can't resist the urge to tempt fate. Maybe they're in a hurry, maybe they think they're invincible, or maybe they just really, really like sharp objects. Whatever the reason, running with scissors is a recipe for disaster. We're talking trips, falls, and some very unfortunate stab wounds. So please, folks, do yourself a favor and heed your mother's advice. Walk, don't run, and keep those scissors pointed down. Chapter 9. Trains, they always win. Okay, this one should go without saying, but apparently it needs to be said. Don't try to outrun a train. Seriously, what are you thinking? Do you have a death wish? Trains are big, they're heavy, and they're really, really fast. They also have a terrible stopping distance, like miles, so unless you're Usain Bolt on steroids, you're not going to outrun a train. And even if you somehow manage to avoid getting turned into a human pancake, you're still trespassing on railroad tracks, which is illegal and incredibly dangerous. So please, folks, just stay away from the tracks. It's not worth the risk. Chapter 10. Toasters. Not for forks. All right, let's talk about toasters. Simple appliances, right? You put bread in, you get toast out. Easy peasy. But some people, they just can't resist the urge to tinker. Maybe their toast is stuck. Maybe they're curious about the inner workings of electrical appliances. Or maybe they just really, really like sticking metal objects into small, dark places. Whatever the reason, sticking a fork into a toaster is a recipe for disaster. We're talking sparks, short circuits, and some very painful electric shocks. So please, folks, leave the toast retrieval to the professionals, or at least unplug the toaster first. It's not worth the risk of electrocuting yourself over a piece of bread. Chapter 11. Frozen lakes. Not as solid as they look. Winter wonderland, right? Snow falling, kids sledding, frozen lakes glistening in the sun. It's enough to make you want to lace up your skates and glide across the ice. But hold on a second there, Frosty. Before you go waltzing onto that frozen lake, make sure it's actually frozen solid. Ice thickness can be deceiving, and what looks like a winter wonderland could be a watery grave just waiting to happen. One wrong step, one thin patch of ice, and you'll be taking an unexpected dip in the freezing cold water. So, unless you're a polar bear or have a death wish, always check the ice thickness before venturing out onto a frozen lake. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially when hypothermia is involved. Chapter 12. Safety warnings. Not just pretty pictures. You know those big, scary warning labels they slap on everything these days? The ones with the skull and crossbones and the exclamation points? Yeah. Those are there for a reason. They're trying to tell you something important. This thing can kill you. But some people, they see those warnings as a challenge. They think, hold my beer, I'll show you who's boss. And then they proceed to ignore every single safety precaution imaginable. What happens next isn't pretty. It's a one-way ticket to the emergency room, or worse. So, please, folks, do yourself a favor and read the warning labels. They're there for a reason. And that reason is to keep you from becoming a cautionary tale. Chapter 13. Hitchhiking stranger danger is real. Remember that whole stranger danger thing your parents used to tell you about? Yeah, it still applies, especially when it comes to hitchhiking. Sure, it might seem like a romantic notion, hopping in a stranger's car and hitting the open road, but the reality is it's incredibly dangerous. You have no idea who that person is behind the wheel. They could be a friendly grandma offering you a ride, or they could be a serial killer looking for their next victim. And let's be real, the odds are not in your favor. So please, folks, for the love of all that is good and holy, don't hitchhike. There are safer ways to travel, like buses, trains, planes, or even walking. Your safety is worth the extra effort. Chapter 14, seatbelts. Buckle up, buttercup. All right, let's talk about seatbelts. They're not just a fashion accessory, folks. They're there to save your life. But some people, they think they're invincible. They think it'll never happen to me. But here's the thing, accidents happen. And when they do, you want to be wearing your seatbelt. It's that simple. A seatbelt can be the difference between walking away from an accident and being thrown through the windshield. So please, folks, buckle up. It's the law, it's common sense, and it could save your life. Don't be a statistic. Buckle up, buttercup. Chapter 15, Wild Animals. Look, don't touch. And last but not least, let's talk about wild animals. They're beautiful, they're majestic, and they are wild. That means they're unpredictable, they're potentially dangerous, and they do not want to be your friend. But some people, they see a cute little animal and think, oh, I just want to pet it. Bad idea, my friend, very bad idea. Wild animals are not domesticated. They have sharp teeth, sharp claws, and they're not afraid to use them. So please, folks, admire the wildlife from a safe distance. Take pictures, not trophies, and leave the animal handling to the professional. Your face and your limbs will thank you for it. Outro, stay safe out there. Well, there you have it, folks. 15 of the dumbest ways to die. Hopefully you got a good laugh out of these cautionary tales, but also hopefully you learned a valuable lesson. Don't be stupid. The world is a dangerous enough place as it is, so let's try not to make it any worse by doing dumb things. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more hilarious content, and remember, stay safe out there. You never know when dumb luck might run out.